Okay, so we're going to take a look at this right here, this strand M3.NF.3b. It talks about equivalent fractions. We're going to be taking a look at equivalency when it comes to multiplication and division today. If we look at multiplying and dividing, if we start with, let's say, the number 2, so 2 times some number gives us 4. We know that 2 times 2, right, equals 4. And if we go backwards from that, if we start with that 4, and we want to get to 2, we're going to divide, right, by some number. So 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So let's keep this in mind when we're talking about our division and multiplying fractions, okay, when we talk about that. So I've baked some delicious brownies, and I'm going to share half of them, okay? Now, as I'm drawing on these brownies today, it's not going to be mathematically half or a fourth or whatever, because I'm not measuring perfectly. When we talk about halves and fractions, the denominator, we're thinking that those are equal parts. So if I draw it and it's not perfectly equal, we're just going to pretend it's equal for today, okay? So if I draw a line down the middle, okay, so I've drawn this line down the middle, I have split these two into halves, right? So I have 1 and 2. I have 2 pieces. So I have 2 equal pieces. I'm just going to share half, right? I'm just going to share half. So I'm just going to share this half over here. So let's pretend that I'm removing these brownies and I'm sharing that half. So I've taken 1 of the 2 pieces to share. So I'm sharing half of my brownies, 1 over 2. What if I want to cut it into more pieces, okay? So I'm going to start with that half, right? And I'm going to cut it into another 2 pieces. So now I've gone from 2 pieces to 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now I still want to share half, so I'm going to be sharing this whole half over here. So now I've shared 2 of the 4 pieces. So 2/4 is equivalent, okay, equivalent to 1/2. Because if we remember the last brownies, we had just 2 pieces, and I took 1 piece, the piece that was over here. I want to have even more pieces. Okay, so I'm going to still use my first line of half. Remember, these are all, even though I'm not doing it perfect, I'm trying my best, but they're not going to be equal, so just remember that these pieces are equal. So I'm going to add another line here. Now, this is way off. I can't really say that this is 6th, right? We have 6 pieces, but they're not equal. So if I wanted to do 6th, I would have to redraw my lines. But I'm just going to add another line. So then we have 8ths, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal pieces. Okay, we have 8 equal pieces. And again, I want to share my half, right? But this time I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces out of the 8. Alright, so let's take a look at all of those together. So if we remember our first brownie, I split into 2 pieces and served 1. So that was 1 of 2. On the second pan of brownies, I wanted to split it into more pieces, so I took 2 of 4. And then the third one, I split it into more pieces, and I took 4 of 8. So as you can see, if we look at, okay, this area, this area, this area, all that I shared is the same. It's the exact same amount of brownies. So we can say that these fractions, okay, 1/2, 2/4, 4/8 are all, there's our magic word there, equivalent. So they equal one another. Well, let's take a look at the math. Okay, so if we start with 1/2, and we're going to end up with 2/4, okay, if you remember from the beginning, right? We're going to do multiplication. Okay, but what are we going to multiply by? So we're going to multiply, but what are we going to multiply by? Well, if I look at 1, okay, and I think to myself, how do I go from 1 to 2? All right, and I'm going to multiply. So I know that 1 times, okay, so 1 times 2, right, equals 2. Well, if I think about 2, what times 2 equals 4? Well, it's 2 again. So 2 times 2 equals 4. So if I look at, again, 1/2 times 2 over 2, and man, if I think about this, have I learned this yet? What 2 over 2? When I have a fraction that has the same number, right, on the top as the bottom, same number in the numerator as in the bottom, what does that mean? That's right, it equals 1. So we're really kind of just multiplying everything by 1, right, which gives us the same. So if I'm 2 times 1, right, 2 times 1 is 1. We haven't really done anything to it, and we're not really going to do anything to this fraction, right? We're just keeping it equivalent because it's equal. So we don't want to really change anything. We're just changing the numerator and denominator around. So again, we're taking this 1/2 and we're multiplying it the numerator and denominator by 2, and that gives us our 2/4. Well, if we go from 2/4, right? Okay, down here, if we have 2/4, and we want to go to 4/8, again, we're going to multiply. What are we going to multiply by? Well, 2 times something is 4. Well, that's 2. 4 times something is 8. Well, again, that's 2. So again, it's multiplying the numerator, right? Multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So it's 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, if I switch any numbers around, I'm not doing the right thing. Again, so if I have 1/2, and I know that an equivalent fraction to 1/2 is 4/8, I know that I'm going to have to multiply by something to get to 4/8. If I start thinking incorrectly and I want to go ahead and try to do addition, right? So if I think 1 plus 3, so let's get rid of this. Okay, so if I'm like, wait, I think I'm supposed to do addition, right? So I have 1 plus 3 equals 4, and 2 plus 6 equals 8. So 1/2 plus 3/6 equals 4/8. Well, that's completely and utterly wrong. That's wrong. Okay. That's not how addition works. And you'll learn more about that later. So again, whenever we're doing multiplication, we have to keep the number the same. So something times 1 equals 4. That's pretty easy. And something times 2 equals 8. Well, again, once you figure out what the top number is, you know what you're going to have to multiply the bottom number by. So 1 times 4 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. If, however, I want to go from 4/8 to 1/2, if you remember at the very beginning of this video, we talked about going using multiplication and division. So to go from a larger fraction to its smaller equivalent, okay, just smaller in the digit sense, it's still the same size, but just the numbers are different, we're going to divide. Okay, and again, we have to divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So if I can figure out what divided by 4 equals, what number am I going to divide by to 4 to get 1, then I'll know it's the same number I'm going to divide 8 to get 2. So 4 divided by, 4 equals 1, and 8 divided by 4 equals 2. All right? Well, that's the end of the video. If you're watching this for 3rd grade class, then please fill out the Google form that should be right below the video. Where a little summary and then answer some questions. And if you have any questions or you're confused by anything, please type it there as well. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.